Italian word of the day for today, Friday, 19 June 2026. From me to you, is it a word? It is actually a term. So it's like but myself, have been known to treat it as a word. So it's technically a term of the day. Though, depending on who you speak to, it's a word in English. So in that sense, it's like the spirit of it is word of the day, even though it's the term of the day. So, and I'm Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, and the term is Compagno di stanza, or stanza, depending on how one pronounces the Z. It translates to English as roommate, and a roommate is somebody who lives in a room with another person. So for somebody to be my roommate, they would have to live in this room with me. This is my room where I live. I have had a roommate before, a striped Danio I named Sparky. Okay. He was a he, him, his, and he was here for over 5.00 consecutive years with me. So in that sense, I have had a roommate in this room before. I've had roommates elsewhere as well, and I'm just like including in a sorority house, like as in that case it was bunkmates. I lived in was called a sleeping porch, where there were like 14 of us in one room, and so like 7, I think it's something like that, seven sets of bunk beds. I chose bottom bunk. Did I end up on a top bunk at one point? I don't know. That was that kind of thing. Okay. Anyway, so the kind of setup for how like one has a roommate can be different. Thinking forward, so moving in with my Jacob, or maybe my Jacob moves in with me and another of my soulmate, say I'm living with, sharing a living room together, big bed, so the critters can sleep on it with us. So I'm like lying here, Jacob's lying here, and here's Cobb, the western gray squirrel, curled up in a ball, and like, I can sleep next to both of them. Yeah, that kind of thing. So we gotta have a bed big enough that the critters can be there. We are each other's roommate, as well as any critters that come to dwell in the room like we do. So I was thinking through, so there's the standard roommate, and then there's if I were to live in a living room, then if I say there's a bed, then and I share it with my Jacob, then we're living in the same space. But like if a critter, or critters come to sleep on our bed, or we put down like a little squirrel bed or whatever, or a cat post that becomes a squirrel post, and they like to call it their bed, and then they might be a roommate as well, kind of like that fish for me in the past. And then do we film home communions in the same room? So do we have a different room that has desks in it, or do we have desks in the living room? How does that work? And so which is, I guess what I'm trying to get at is how functional the room is could vary depending on how many people live in the room together, and kind of the utility of the room. So like when I slept in that bunk room with those girls in the sorority, we all lived together, we had a different room where we had dressers. So like then 6 of us that were in that room had dressers in one room, and there was like a little bit of closet space. So not much, but a little bit. So like, all right, so if we shared the living room, would we have desks in a different room, or would they be in that same room? And then if we did a home communion, would we film then in that room? And then because it's a little bit of a YouTube specific, having to think about what's in the background if living in the living room and there's a bed and there's desks, and we're like, what else is in the living room? The squirrels go, a cat post converted to a squirrel post. So there we go. In Italiano as compagno di stanza, in English as roommate.